Alright, fuckers, welcome back to Practicing Fundamentals Artwod, ARTWOD, link in the description, beginner roadmap, right? And no, I'm not affiliated, but again, I will continue to beg and grovel, and then beg again when groveling stops working until they affiliate me. So, yes, draw along. We are doing the artwod grind node, the second grind node, and the second section of that grind node, which is multiple around these boxes. The practice is technically this, the simple version, which you create a box under drawing, and then you round within it, right? Multiple round within it. I'm doing the more advanced version because I'm better than you specifically. But yeah, I'm gonna really try to focus on visualization, right? And rotation, right? From memory. So I think I'm, well, it's not about being ready, it's just about trying. So, but the biggest thing is this will train me, hopefully, to really keep in mind what it is that I'm drawing, right? And I really want my brain to struggle. So draw along, come on, stop wasting your time, right? Draw along, practice multiple rounding, whether the simple variants or the more complicated versions, right? But practice, because if you've been slacking on your practice, let my beautiful soothing voice be a guide to get off your ass, right? Me and my 20 viewers. All right, I'm gonna start, but I need to visualize this first. Let's see. It's on the edge, the precipice, right? That's what I need to visualize it as. So, let's see. Okay, I think I have a relative understanding of how I want to approach this. And again, I always want to make sure my lines are also pretty decent. Right? I've gotten complaints that they're very slow, which is good. The more time you have to complain, the less time you have to draw. Therefore, the more I can simply outcompete you due to your nature in bitching and not drawing. Right? I'm creating false narratives that don't exist for my own. What the fuck am I trying to say? For my own benefit, yeah. Okay. So, this is what we have. This side, okay. Okay, I'm getting a little bit better at that. Right, and now we have to... I want to turn this into an angle. But actually, I'm trying to think. I want to make this difficult, of course. Okay, if that's the perspective. Biggest thing is to always think about the box. Which is what I'm trying to do right now. Right? Okay, I'm just trying to think. Because I want to make this complicated. Much like what? The Avril Lavigne song? Complicated? Why you gotta be so complicated? Every artist asks when they have to draw in perspective. Okay, and the lines could have been better, but I'm just still thinking out loud. Is that what happens? I'm just trying to figure this out. Maybe something like this does exist in perspective. I don't know if this is accurate, I'll be honest. But okay. And what about... I'm just trying to think of the angles. Right? Okay, see? So I have a lot of trouble right now, clearly, creating consistency in the attachments. And this obviously comes down to my line work and my ability to maintain my visualization being subpar, right? That's just what it is. It's just about being subpar. Okay. Because that's basically what's happening. When you're creating this rounding, the other side is flat, right? Like right here, this side is flat. We can obviously, I guess, change that, I believe. But again, this is connecting here, so there you go. That's a bit better. I need to stop fucking readjusting my grip on my pen and just choose one and stick to getting better with it. Okay. The question is now, does this make sense? I feel as if this doesn't make sense. If I were to just follow the perspective, this should have been more going along this way, but perspective technically did change because we're diagonal now. That's the main question. This is a flat plane. This is curving around. This is curving around. So that's what's happening. This line is also a bit incorrect. Okay, so I want to do this from memory now, so we should do it from a different angle. Right? So something like this. I'm trying to think. This is the difficult part, right? Doing it from memory, because it's multiple rounding, but from memory, so lots of difficult things to think about. This is why I have to pay attention very closely and intimately with what I draw here, right? So when I flip it, I'm not struggling, but it's always a struggle, of course. I just have to think. I'm trying to rotate that in my head right now. This, what I drew here. This is all very slow. This is why I encourage everybody to draw along, because this is a real-time process of learning art, right? This is why my videos are unedited, apart from my sheer laziness and fucking lack of care towards actually making something. I'm drawing, right? This is the actual raw part of becoming an expert draftsman, in the fact that it takes a lot of time to think. It takes a lot of time to think. That's where most of the energy goes, actually, is thinking. And then applying is just... it's still difficult, but it's another just the other part of the energy. It's like 60-40, right? Most of the time you're spending thinking, so I'm just trying to figure this out. So I did like this. So if I were to rotate it, okay, let me try something like this. This could go very wrong, but I'm willing to be wrong, because that's how you learn, right? And while I'm speaking, what I'm doing is still thinking very, very hard about what it is that I drew. Very, very hard. That's genuinely, I'm thinking about that. I'm trying to make sense of it. Because it's not just about the fact that I drew something, it's about that fact that I can do something very complicated, right? But I do believe that I'm getting a decent grasp, just mentally in my mind, because memory drawing is actually an incredible skill to learn, and it's unfortunate that it took me this long to bring these memory rotation practices into my practice, right? For lack of a better word. But it is still I'm still grateful that I have. This is very difficult. Now here's the confusion, is what happens here. Well, I already know that this connects, and I already know that this connects, right? Because I'm still keeping that box in mind. Never went away. The question is just what happened, right? Yeah, that's the question. What is this curve? Because these technically, I believe... Actually, yeah. I think I can still... do that. But... no, the main thing is, okay, we have a box right there. It goes up here. Something like this, right? Something like that. And again, we can do this, I believe. The question is it something like this? Because again, we do have something like that, I think. Because it was upside down, right? And what happens here? Is it just... let's see. Okay, so no, I did it wrong. Yeah, see, it connects at the edge. I connected it beyond the edge. But that's very close. That's actually very close, to be honest. I'm happy with that. I'm impressed at how awesome I am. But I'm gonna rest my brain, and please, you do the same. And then we're gonna continue onwards. Yeah, multiple rounding, making them more complicated is the way to go. And I think just practicing these little wireframes. I don't know if this is harder or easier. I feel as this is almost easier, but evidently not, because I did struggle with it quite a bit. But yeah, I feel as the multiple roundings, again, proportions are a bit off. But the thing is, proportions are off scale-wise, but relative to the proportions established within the context of the shapes next to each other, they are pretty equivalent. But scale-wise, this is around 1.5 times larger than this, right? Not bad, not bad. That's good. Let me rest my brain. All right, cool. On the topic of continuing to make these a bit more difficult and more convoluted, I think I can try something like... these are basically the same perspective, which isn't that good. We do want to vary it, right? So I want to think about something like... let me think. Again, always trying to make sure that I'm thinking about the box, right? There you go. And it's difficult, trust me. Visualizing a box while visualizing the overall shape, while visualizing the lines you're gonna make, is extremely difficult. But that's the beauty of learning, is the fact that when it's difficult is when you actually make a genuine change in your ability to produce, right? To apply. Because if it wasn't difficult, I'd just be doing lines like this since I started, right? But it's evident if you look at when I first started drawing versus now, my lines, slowly but surely, very slowly but surely, have been getting consistently better, right? But there's still a lot of mistakes, and I'm doing my best. But okay, initially I wanted the shape to be something else. But first I'm going to do something like this first to establish the perspective a bit more. See, that's why I also decided to draw in this angle, because I struggle with this angle quite a bit. And that's the important part, is if I'm struggling with it, I am chasing I'm chasing it, I guess. Chasing the, what's the best way to say this? I'm chasing that attempt to get slightly better again and again. And it really isn't just about being slightly better. I want to add, because any skill, but especially art, will humble you greatly when you realize that, oh, it takes months to see tangible progress and years to see tangible progress that you can say with confidence is tangible. Okay, so that's what I wanted to do. Keep hitting the tripod holding my phone, but that's the first part, right? Now for the second part of this shape, which, hold up, let me think about this. Okay. It's kind of similar to this, but I'm just trying to make it slightly more difficult. Right? Plus, obviously, I chose a little awkward corner to draw this in as well. And again, still trying to think about that box. Right? Still really trying to think about that box. And then hold up, how do I want to do this? So how do I do this? I'm trying to think. Okay, so yeah, that's what I need to do. There you go, something like that. So was it something like this that I did here, right? Yeah, so I just need to think about this. Now this could be wrong. What I'm doing here could very well be wrong. but that is again the mistakes we have to be comfortable making, right? Because now let's see, how does this work? Right? Technically that's what it should be. And so how would that connect here is the real question. Well, it would actually just be like this, no? Something like that, just a bit lower. I guess that is how it is. It's difficult to understand, actually. I don't know if I did that right. I don't know if I should even rotate that, because I need to figure out if that makes sense first. See, this makes sense. This right here, what I did, that makes sense. It's basically a pipe, right? See, the wireframes are difficult. Okay, maybe I will rotate it. Let's look at that one last time. Okay, not look at it anymore. We'll do something like, yeah, something like this. Wait, hold up, I gotta think about this. Can't just do it. Gotta do it the other way, actually. It has to be done in a way that makes sense. Okay. So... okay, I think I got it. I mean, hopefully I got it. Let's see, this will make the angle. Okay, it's gonna be like that. Right? Something like... I'm trying to think about the box that I've created in my mind. Something like this. I'm trying to think. Fucking, it's annoying to have to hold this shit up. By this shit, I mean my hand. This is very difficult, but let's see. Something like that. And then right? Obviously we're seeing underneath it. think it's slightly off, but nothing horrible. Because this is part of it, I believe. Oh no, I think this was supposed to be the other way. I don't know. I think I fucked up that edge. Because I do have to think about the fact that these are... Okay, and then we got... That's connected there. We got that. I think I'm doing this wrong. Which is good, because this is fucking grinding my brain. Let's see... Go something like that, right? And then we got... Oh, see, that was a fuck up of a line because I wasn't paying attention. Lines in general are very bad. Okay. Honestly, it's okay, but what is the biggest problem that has occurred here? Oh, I know. The bottom of this does not look what I thought it looked like. What the fuck was that sentence? Does not look. The bottom of this does not look like what I thought it would look like here, right? Because if you're gonna take this into the bottom, it'd be something like... What would the bottom of this look like? I guess we can try just recreating that here, which is... It's kind of like this, right? So like that. Right? Is it something like that? This is what that would look like? And it just goes diagonal. Right? I did fuck it up, of course. And that's a good thing. Right? Genuine mistakes were made. Just trying to figure out what the bottom of this would look like. Then again, did I do this correctly? Also a glaring question. But getting better at remembering, seemingly, right? Which is good. But now we just need to understand the spatial relation between these two. Yeah, because from the side, this is like that over here, and the other side's like this. So when you put them together, but they're diagonal, yeah, it'd be something like this. Right? From the front, that's what it would look like. So from the bottom, okay, yeah, so from the bottom it would look something like this, right? But would that even make sense? I'm gonna have to try to figure that out. Well, the only way to figure it out is A, first to rest my brain, then B, to do it again, right? Do something like that again. Really get these diagonal, get these diagonal roundings down. Because once I can figure that logic out, that's another step. So that's the goal. We're gonna try to figure out the diagonal rounding logic. But yeah, let me rest my brain. Some nice cold ass water. Damn, it's already been half an hour? What the fuck? Okay. So, diagonal rounding logic. How do we make that make sense and consistent? Because I did it here to an extent. Okay, but I guess we have to think about it in terms of the... Because if this was like a sharp point, right? So would it not be a sharp point down here too? I guess that's what's confusing me. Okay, but I'm just gonna ignore that. We're gonna try again. Right, so let's put it in a box. This is problem solving time. Right, we have hours to practice multiple roundings, so let's just put it in a box. Like so. Try to figure this out. Maybe that box is a bit too small, but either way, if rounding is something that exists and it's projected outward or projected inward, depending on how you look at it, right? But if it's literally just me doing this, and then this, and that, right? And then the same thing here. If that's what rounding on a square straight plane is, why would the logic not apply to suddenly a diagonal plane as well? Would it not just be something like this? And like that? And this would just have to curve inward, right? Same thing here. Why wouldn't it just be something like this? And then this is accommodating by curving outward, right? We're just creating a little diagonal like that, you know, and this is still within the boundaries of the diagonal, like so, right? So if it's just following the diagonal, then I only need to think about the plane that it resides on, right? If the rounding is just following the plane, okay, let me try giving myself another example. If I have something, let's say like, yeah, let's say like this, okay? If I have something like this, it goes like that, right? It goes straight. But now it's diagonal, right? So is it a curved diagonal like so, right? Because I'm sure there's multiple ways to do this, but it's still on the plane underneath that it resides on would still be something like this, no? Right? Because don't forget, the bottom of this is still flat, right? It's still flat. I just have to think in terms of, okay, well, the plane change has occurred, right? But for it to make more sense, I would assume corners like these need to be constant, right? So rather than something like this, I believe something like, let me do it here. Something like this is probably more appropriate. It's good to have quote-unquote hinges. Right? And let's say this wants to go diagonal now, like okay, let's say it wants to go diagonal but this way, right? What this means is I can just follow it around, right? And then we have something like this. No? Is that corner a bit too much? Is it too small? If it's off the corner, I'm trying to think, because that technically makes sense, right? Wait, no, it's like that. Fuck. Fuck, I fucked this up. Did I? Maybe. I'm just trying to think out loud. More than anything. Right. Is we have a corner. If it's rounded, technically that's also a rounding. And then it curves along the edge. It comes back out here. I think that's more correct, I believe. But again, thinking out loud here, we're trying to figure this out. Right? Let's say I had something like this. Right? Okay, and we had a rounding like that, right? Now, if I were to bring this inward, what would happen? Right? This is my box, but I want to do a sharp diagonal turn. Like so. Would this not just follow the logic, and this would just curve to adhere to it? Right? Now, because this is where the plane is now. But what would this look like? This be like something like that, right? And then I could just bring this back, and if it were to just curve, if I were to do something like this, it still not make sense. I'm trying to figure this out. I mean, yeah, it's difficult. Multiple rounding especially, because there's a lot of different ways you could sort of logic it to yourself, right? That it rests on the plane, that it is actually attached to an anchor point like this, right there, so that's where the rounding is, right? So it's actually attached to a plane that's further away, right? Right, there's a lot of ways you could do it, because then this is how you could think about it. Rather than it's resting on a plane, it's connected to that, you could think it's connected like this, right? And suddenly you have, this is a bit easier to think about, but because it follows a logic. But then when we add diagonals, almost seems like that logic goes out the window, right? That's what I'm trying to figure out, you know? Because again, like this is all just practice, right? So I'm just trying to figure out. So let me think. Okay, so if I had something like this, okay, let's just establish just my initial rounding base. This is an incorrect ellipse. See, connecting it there. So it's like, still, those are still need a lot of work. Okay, so let's say I want a diagonal. This is my plane, right? Let's say I want to go this way. Could I just do it like this, right? Could that be something that's just done, where I'm just thinking about it in terms of, like, if I were to just do something like this, how would the rounding have to accommodate for that, right? Is it curving? Right? If I had whatever, let's just say it was like this. That's come around. It's curving, right? But that's too much of a curve. It has to be more subtle. That's too little. That's too much still. Right? And what about this? How does this suddenly, is that just following along like that? Is that the wireframe? Let's see, let's try again. I'm just gonna fill in like all these little blanks. I mean, I might as well also do one here. I have a lot of space here, but okay, let's try again. Right, if I have something like this, right? That's a lot better. Let's say I have something like this, and I want to. Because what did I do here? I made it go down, and then I curved it. Like I changed the plane. So if I were to just do this. Okay, so I think that's the difference is here is the fact that I could have added something like that. There you go. That makes all the difference, right? If we follow this, and then we just, okay, so that is where the other rounding is. I see now. I think it's starting to make a bit more sense. Basically, we need attachments at the turns. But if this is the same thing roughly as this, then what did I do here that was different? So I didn't follow it exactly. But again, I'm trying to figure out whether I should follow the plane like I did here, or Okay, well, let's just try to make sense of it. So here we have our box. Let's just say it's like this, right? But if we want to make it diagonal, let's just say we want a more extreme diagonal, right? Something like that. So again, does this follow? Because I could technically just stick to this, stick to this. Well, we can do this again, right? So we could do something like this. We can do something like that. In this one, we're going to adhere to the original. We're going to adhere to the original perspective, right? So that will cause a little curve. Okay, yeah, here we're adhering to the original perspective. And then, what the fuck is going on here? Okay, I think I understand what's going on there. And then we're going to, let's see, how did I approach it here? Okay, yeah, because it's still diagonal. It comes back, still diagonal. Okay, so we'll just do something like this to make sense of it a little bit more. Right? Okay, now what's happening after? What is happening after I say Is it, what did I do here? Okay, let's just edit this. right? Whatever. And okay, well, I also have to add this now. Something like that, right? I'm trying to think. Give me uno secondo, goddammit. I'm trying to think. So how does this wireframe? Oh, okay, so this is where I do this and this to again follow along with the perspective. It curves, it attaches at this joint, but you know, more organically than what I just did, especially here. Okay, well, yeah, this was a bit of a fuck up, but there you go. And then if something like this. Okay, so that is the main thing, is the fact that between plane transitions there should exist another rounding, right? But it's a slightly different type of rounding because it's a rounding that adheres to the rounding already created initially, right? It's a sort of connector rounding. I'm not going to know the official term, but this is how I'm going to internalize it, right? So this is this, basically the same thing, right? But now we've understood. Obviously this could have been bigger because it is in front, so it should have been bigger. But that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense to me now. So, okay, I'm gonna rest my brain because this was genuinely difficult to try and figure out. But now we need to put into practice. So I'm gonna rest my brain. I'm obviously gonna fill up this area. I'm probably just gonna fill this page up. There's no need to try doing other shit around the page, right? And then half an hour after I finish, I'll be back at it again, and then we'll be doing the other side. Jesus Christ. Okay. Anyways, please, I encourage you to rest your brain as well. Multiple rounding is very difficult. All right. That took way too long. I don't know why I rested. I was just thinking of the fucking Period the Platypus theme. The doobie doobie doo. Ah, fucking hell. Okay. So let's keep attempting this because this is actually slowly but surely starting to become a bit more intuitive to me. So again, I could do something like this, right? It's connected. Again, I'm obviously always trying to think about the box. There you go. And let's just say it connects like so, because we have to understand our logic even for different types of diagonal plane changes that I make, right? It can't just be for one type. It's kind of bullshit. But see, what if I do something like this just comes out diagonally, right? So what if this is just something like that? You know, what do we do then? I believe what we would do, if I were to go off of this example, is, yeah, there you go. See, a connector rounding, right? That still gives us the opportunity to curve it a little, right? And again, because I did diagonal like that, actually wait, hold up, that's a bit off perspective. Let me just think, it's like this, and for some reason I brought it this way. Okay, so that's actually like this. Okay, so yeah, see? If I were to just, because I can't replicate it the same way I replicated it here, but I could, something like that. Right, there you go, connector rounding. See? It's starting to make a lot more sense now. I believe, at least, it's starting to make a lot more sense. I mean, I think it is. I think it is. It's exciting. It's exciting. You know, this is like uncharted territories, in a sense. Again, what if I did something like this? Right. And we decided to do a little, okay, so if this is the perspective, let's just say we decided to just cross it like that, like just go all the way over there. Right, didn't connect it properly, but would this not be accurate? I think I could have done the connector a little bit better here. Probably should have been more like that, but then it would, something like that, no? Because that's the perspective I've established. Right? And again, if I were to just bring it back like this, we would have, I believe, multiple connectors, no? Isn't that what I did here? Something like this. And it's all in this same plane, right? Well, the main thing is the fact that at least my spatial reasoning is slowly starting to build on top of itself, right? Like, even if I were to do something like this, I guess, something like this, right, where right, something like that. And then it comes back down. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure this out. How does it make sense, right? Nope, that doesn't make sense to me. Because I didn't finish this. Yeah, I have to go back up. Something like that. Okay, the idea is there, but the connections are what is difficult to understand. Right, if I were to try that again here, just basic diagonal. Right, this time we can even make it a bit more difficult. So we'll do something like that first. Right? How do you make this suddenly have a diagonal that makes sense? Is it... Right, does that make sense? Let's see, that doesn't really make much sense, does it? Difficult. I know I was rotating earlier from memory, but I don't think it's too wrong to take a pause and try to understand the logic in and of itself, right? Because I've already figured out to a degree this logic, but if I were to just try to make a triangular rounding, like how would that work? If it was just something like this, right? How do you round off of that? You know? Technically, yeah, you could do something like this. I guess. Again, right? It's like, okay, then would we have something like this here? Or is it this way? It's that way, yeah. Okay, I guess that's how you do it. Something like that. Right? But whatever. Let's just draw a shape and then try to rotate it. Or let's just draw a shape. Not much time left, right? 58 minutes. But let's try to make it a bit more complex. So we could again, as always, start like this. Right, but now I can think about how I want to there you go. Would that be correct? Right? Something like this? I don't fucking... Actually, I do know. I shouldn't say I don't know, because it does make sense to me. So maybe I don't need a connector joint after all, like I did here. Actually, no, I would. Because it's... Actually, would I? Well, let's see. If something like this... What if we had something like... Something like that, maybe. But this makes sense. It would if I did something like that. Okay. So we could honestly just do something like this as well. Here you go. Now it's all connected, right? Something like that. And then this could also connect, I think. No, that's a bit too much. There you go. Okay, so I've clearly connected roundings together. Now the logic is making sure that the connections themselves make sense. This was obviously a huge mistake in the sense that I wasn't aiming to do something convoluted like this, but this has been an incredible practice, I'm not gonna lie. I just need to take a step back now, focus on making complex-ish shapes similar to this, and then start rotating those from memory. So that's the goal for next session in roughly half an hour. So yeah, wonderful. That was fucking awesome. That I genuinely felt like yeah, this is the thing. Like I'm constantly pushing myself and trying to make things more difficult, but I think I've just really come to internalize a good learning mindset and effort towards a good learning mindset. Like I'm always trying to make things more difficult, but consistent progress feels odd. And not, I don't know, like it's hard to explain, but I think everything I've done around mindset and actually putting in genuine mental effort to learn is paying off. But I think that all that means is I should try even harder. I want my brain to hurt. My brain did hurt a decent amount when I practiced, genuinely. Like it did, like a lot of things. Like I'd say like 60% of the time. I want it to be like 80% of the time that I'm just dying on the inside. Only then will I feel fulfilled. And only then will my brain learn. So, like I could actually do something like this now. Now that I know that roughly how this stuff works, we can do something like this. Right? Something like that. It's like, okay, that's the wireframe for this, right? It's actually pretty cool. Even here, I think, start to actually understand right? There you go. Turn that into a wireframe of sorts as well. Which means I'm actually starting to understand what the rounding is shaped like much more intuitively, which is good, which is actually amazing. But yeah, I hope you all had fun. I hope you all struggled. I hope you had a good time pushing yourself and challenging yourself. right? And with that being said, as always, fuck you for watching, keep drawing, and please give me money.